Well, I know why you want her, but I'm sorry. I gotta, when the people who work here, I do that. Okay, hi, good evening, everybody. I mean, let's give it up, please. I'm Ayo Edebiri. And I'm very, very excited to be here with you all tonight because I am going to be speaking with the wonderful Cynthia Erivo about her incredible work in this film you just saw, Wicked. So, I mean, what, like, can you not say about Cynthia? She's one of the, I don't know, greatest triple threat actors working today. She came into my consciousness when I saw her. I think I had a friend who was working at the theater and he helped me scam tickets to see her in The Color Purple. This is a true story that I don't even know if Cynthia knows. Because I was a working child and I needed some help getting those tickets, but my mind was blown. My ears were also blown, I guess. And she won a Grammy and a Daytime Emmy and a Tony for her fantastic performance as Celie in The Color Purple. Then, Casual, she was nominated for literally 2 Academy Awards for her. Is this 2? Am I like hot on the mic? Feels like, no? Okay, we're fine. For her portrayal as Harriet Tubman in Harriet, for both lead actress and original song. And also, I'm seeing some SAG and Golden Globe nominations for that, okay? Then, she received an Emmy nomination for her work as Aretha Franklin in Genius. And now, present day, here we are, her 3rd Academy Award nomination for her breathtaking work as Elphaba in Wicked. And that's in addition to the BAFTA Award nomination, Critics' Choice Award nomination, Golden Globe nomination, I'm gonna take a breath, Screen Actors Guild Award nomination, and so many more. So, all these accolades aside, I saw this film. I'm addicted to this musical. You know the age group. You know what's going on in my brain. It's giving musical theater because it is. And I saw this movie when I was on vacation. I texted Cynthia. I was on vacation in Taiwan, and literally an earthquake happened at the end of The Wizard and I fully was like, yeah, this tracks. Like, this is all going according to plan. We were safe, you know what I mean? Everybody stayed in the theater, the government works there, so we were all good, minor earthquake. But I was just, I couldn't believe the work of this woman. I love her very much. Give a round of applause for Cynthia Erivo.
You so much.
I'm out of my mind.
That was the best introduction I've ever heard in my life. Thank you. She did literally text me when she saw the film and was like, an earthquake happened.
Yeah, I sent a blurry picture. Because I literally was like, at first I was like, oh wow, like, I didn't even know we bought like 4D tickets. Like, this is really popping. Like, Asia really has it going on. And then no, it was fully earthquake. But yeah, the buildings are stable there, you know what I mean? Good. They have everything in place and nobody left. So I was like, cool, yeah, we're good.
Everyone just stayed?
Everyone stayed.
Wow.
Like, the movie kept going.
I love that.
And you popped off, you know what I mean? So we all won. Everybody won. I mean, well, speaking of that, I guess, I was joking with your folks backstage. I was like, I get exhausted doing press for my TV show that's on Hulu. This
just a small.
But I'm like, this is actually like a global. Okay. What are you also like? The accolades? Okay.
The accolades though? Come on now.
You can't have an accolade off. It's unbecoming.
I literally watch her just walk up on every single stage that could be walked up on the last year or so. And then just,
You're Q&A. I'm QUA.
Sorry.
Okay.
QUA. All right, fine.
Okay.
Occasionally QUA.
Cynthia.
Yes.
This is a straight up like global phenomenon. Like this movie is insane. It's just reached so many heights. I feel like culturally, but I don't know, just like as a work of art you get to do as an artist, as an actor, as a singer, as a performer. So like, big question. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? What's
Thanks. That is a big question. You know what? I'm feeling really good. I have really enjoyed meeting every kind of person and hearing about the experience that they have gone through when watching this film. It is really filling to know that you can be a part of something this big and still be able to intimately touch people's hearts. That for me is the reason you do this work, you know? All of the interviews and the cool clothes, you know, I love a dress. I love fashion.
I mean, it's a look right now.
I love it, you know? But none of that matters if you can't actually touch people, and to be able to hear people's experiences. I've received some amazing letters and amazing words from people who don't have to take the time to do that, and they have. And so this has been possibly one of the most wonderful experiences I've had as an actress, just because of playing the wonderful Elphaba, because she's a gem that's going to be stuck with me for the rest of my life. But to be able to share that with people has been really wonderful too. Yeah.
Sarah Paulson said this thing that I think about a lot, where she's like, there's 3 pieces of work that you make, you know? Like there's the one that you sort of prep, then there's the one that you make with people, and then there's the one that like goes out into the world. And they are like 3 different things. I feel like you talking about that intimacy reminded me of that. So I guess I want to start with the one that you prepped. With that Wicked, with that like Elphaba. That audition process, I feel like I've seen like clips and I've seen like things about it. But what was the beginning of that for you?
The beginning of that was running around my house, learning the songs so that I could move with them. I like to feel physical with a song, so that when I'm moving wherever I am, it's like the back of my hand. I don't necessarily even need to think of the lyric, and I can understand. I know what I'm saying. I know why I'm saying it. So wherever I am, in whatever circumstance, I can do it. So I was singing in the shower, singing it while I was cooking, singing it when I'm running up and down stairs, singing it when I'm doing a jog, learning and I'm of the belief that you cannot really fully prepare how you will react until you have the other actor in front of you. So I sort of learn the lines, learn the words without any preconceived notions, no judgments, nothing really on it. I make decisions so it's easier to learn, but I never make cemented decisions because I want to know what I might get from someone else. So that sort of was the process, just getting the words into my body. And I learned music Bible, so I learned it exactly how Idina had sung it, exactly how I had heard it to the original, because I didn't want to colour it with anything until I had gotten into the room, and then what comes out naturally comes out naturally. So if you saw the clip, you'll hear that the walk right is the exact same as what Idina does, no change. And that is the first iteration of the process on this for me. And then you get in the room, and Stephen Schwartz and Stephen Erivo says, "Cool. Now, what do you do?" And then you go, "Oh, I have choice here. Am I allowed?" He goes, "Well, yes, I trust your storytelling." Stephen Schwartz said that, and I will never forget that day, because he's a genius. So you just
he's a genius, but it's also like it's a very iconic.
Yeah, it's like
thing.
it's there. It's been here for years. Like,
And that can feel very loaded.
Whoa.
Yeah.
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 And you don't want to take something and rip something completely apart. Because that's not the intention. You still want to make it as truthful as possible. But if that's the intention, if I allowed myself to come from the intention of trying to be as truthful as possible whenever I sung a note, then any riff that could come out of my mouth meant something, came from something. So when we get to hands touch, eyes meet, sudden silence, sudden heat, heart sleep in a giddy world. He could be that boy, but I'm not that girl. It comes from a place. So that riff doesn't.
Okay, and just for context, it's me. You know what I mean? So that's like, it's like skill, right? So just don't be like, oh yeah, okay, you know. Just for context, it was amazing. We're in the room for that. That happened.
Oh my God.
You guys need pickups for part 2? What's up?
Tomorrow, be at the studio.
With my little red hair,
You know,
right now, little munchkin.
So when you do like a riff slips out and you go, are they gonna? And they go, it's fine. Please continue. Those mean something. They're truthful, and as long as it's not just to do it, because if I riffed all over this, and listen,
You could, and
I could if I wanted to.
Yes.
But that's not the point. The point is what is Elphaba's truth? Why does she use those riffs? Why is she?
Well, I was gonna ask, like, how granular does that get for you? Like, are you like, you're looking at the script, you're looking at the book, and you're like tracking? Because I've had moments like I don't know, each work I feel like is different, and like the material sometimes meets you in a different space or has a way of showing up, and so the way you, I don't know, approach the work kind of ends up different. But for this, was it as granular as like, okay, like this is this scene, this is this moment, she's more subdued, and so I don't want it to, you know, like.
Yeah, for me, yeah. So I knew that, so when she comes to Shiz, I knew that what I didn't want to do was have her be there and already be hurt, scarred, on show. So those things are within her, but I still wanted her to have the energy of like hope and joy. There's like, it still has to have like joy in it. It still has to have like a little bit of fun. There's like an underlayer of like, oh, there's a possibility that anything can happen here.
Because it is like that, though. It is like the wizard in I still has hope in it, and like everything that happens with like Dr. Dillon, like that. She hasn't been broken in that way.
And I didn't want that because I think the assumption is that when you meet her, that's the first time she knows that she's green, but it's not. She's been that way for, at this point, at least 20 years. Like, she's seen herself every single morning in the mirror and looked at herself and been like, okay, well, I'm green. And the reactions she's received, she's been receiving them for years. That, when she steps into the school, that's not the first time she's had people stare at her and want to make comments. So what you can't meet is a person who's receiving this and experiencing it for the first time. What you actually meet is a person who's been there, done that. So it's, yes, I'm green. No, I'm not seasick. No, I didn't eat gross as a child, and I will always be green.
Also,
anything
like,
else?
Yes, I'm green. Like, yes, I'm able to experience joy and happiness, and like all these other things. I can be funny. I like, your assumptions are not
going to color my experience of what's happening right now. Exactly. You know.
I listening to. Okay, get ready for a moment. Have you ever studied like Feldenkrais or like anything like that? I don't know.
I'm not Feldenkrais. I am Stanislavski.
Okay, because the like approach of, well, physicality made my brain go Feldenkrais, but also of like the rote and the learning and like and I don't know, the preparation.
Yeah.
Leaving space for spontaneity, leaving space for surprise, and also like not knowing. Yeah. And like those moments.
I don't know. Maybe I've fallen upon it by accident.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of, that's my natural inclination to want to learn it as well as I possibly can, but to be able to leave a bit of room for whatever might happen.
Yeah.
Because if you assume, then you sort of take away the choice for everybody else. I want to be as prepared as I can be, so I can be of service to everybody else in the scene.
Of course.
But I also want to leave it open enough for me to receive what
what anybody
Yeah.
else
wants to give.
and
Yeah.
also what you want to
What-
give.
yeah.
Yeah. How intense was the rehearsal process then? Like you get there,
Yeah.
things are being built, there's
Yeah.
rigs, we're gonna get on a broom and be singing while we're flying in a minute. Like
You know, and when I think about it, in the moment it didn't feel intense. But now that I am out of that moment and 20 feet away from it, it was pretty intense. It actually was, if I think about it, because I got there and then we started rehearsing with John in the office, but then at the same time I had flying rehearsals. So, so I went, okay. So then I was up in a harness immediately. But before I got in that harness, I knew that I would be doing my own stunts, so I was already training every day. So I'm training my body, we do flying rehearsals, and then we're doing script work, and then that sort of quickly shifted to learning the music, and we had to put everything on tape, so we recorded everything so we could rehearse to it, because there's lots of movement, so we had comps for rehearsals.
so, but those comps didn't end up being the final
No.
film. Yeah.
Final film is us singing live on set.
You're amazing, but you're like, what?
Well, the thing is, if you take away the ability to sing live, you take away, again, it's taking away choice and surprise.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't know that when, so at the beginning of Defying Gravity, it goes, something has changed within me, something is not the same. I didn't know that the whisper was going to happen. That's not something I practiced, and I didn't know my voice would break. But because it was live, it meant that the beginning was stretched out. So you have an in-ear piece, and then we have Dominic Amendum, who is just wonderful, our music, not music supervisor, music director. He would be playing piano live, so that we could hear at least the key and the tune, but he would leave space for us to sing, and just to make the choice when to move on, so that the thought doesn't, you don't end
It's
up
a
with
bit like jazzy
yeah.
almost.
So
like,
instead of being something has changed within me, something is not the same, you get something has changed within me. Something is not the same, which is a different thought. And if you have the recording, you just get the straight, something's changed within me, something's not the same. But actually now she has to find the word. What is it that's going on? And where am I now? Before she goes on. And that choice only comes if you're singing live.
Yeah.
The choice only comes if someone's playing the piano and giving you a little bit of room to play within the notes.
Even there were moments too where I like listening like to the end where like your voice it gets really
Rough.
raw,
Yeah.
really rough,
Yeah.
and like very
It's like guttural.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that. I feel like can only happen if
It's on, yeah.
it's
And
in
I
the
was
moment.
up in that oh, that was a fun, crazy day, because I found out, so he played the new comp ending, which is just the music, and the ending was much longer than I had rehearsed previously. And he was like, so it's much longer. Do you want to maybe comp it later? And I was like, no, how much longer is it? And it is significantly longer than I was used to. And I was like, well, I'll just find the breath. So you find the breath, and I don't have my my diaphragm. I don't have my lungs the way I normally would. I don't have the ground. So in that shot, my thighs are like tense. My calves are tense. No, seriously, because it's the only way I can find the ground. I have no ground in the air. And what you do when you're standing is what happens. Your legs are tense, right? So if I'm in the air and I have no ground, the only thing I can do is have control of the way my muscles work. So I tense my legs, I tense my thighs, I tense my calf muscles so that it feels like I'm standing on ground. That way I have something to push back on, and because I don't have any of this area really accessible, I then use my back and my ribs, the side here, because we have more capacity in our lungs than we actually realize. We've got lots more space than we use, and usually we just use this little upper section, and we can use our tummies. When you're a singer, you use your stomach. When you don't have your stomach, you have to use everything else. So you breathe into your back. So you can actually go on for ages and 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 ages So it's you figure out how to work with what you have, and that.
We might have different things. Okay, you're doing all of this also.
Yes.
While you are painted green.
Yes.
You have different ears on your ears.
I do.
Because your ears are very pierced.
Yes, there are 27 piercings in my ears.
And Elphaba has maybe
None.
So, also when you guys were making this,
yeah.
You just thought it was gonna be one movie, or did you know?
We when we signed up for it, no one was sure whether it was gonna be one or two movies, and then consequently we said yes, and then it was 2 movies.
Okay, but either way, you filmed this for 8 months.
Yeah.
So, how long did it take you
to get into the green?
Yeah.
Depending on how much green, every morning it would take about 2 hours and 45 minutes to 4 hours, depending on how much. Yeah.
What would you do when you were in that makeup? Was it like earbuds,
I
like
couldn't put
prep,
earbuds.
or what?
No
Oh my
earbuds,
god,
'cause my
because your
ears.
ears. Oh my god. Okay, so what? Okay, what is that like? What's the morning like?
The morning, so I get up. Usually, my call time to be in the seat could be anything between 5 a.m. to 6:30, something like that. On a good day, it would be like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or sleeping,
nice.
yes. But if it was like a 5 a.m. call, 6 a.m. call, I would be up about 2. I would do a workout for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I'd get ready, I'd get in the car, we'd get to work. I'd be in the seat by 5:30, depending. And I would just sit, and they would get me ready. I would work with them because I like to be involved.
Yeah.
So
We've had hair and makeup conversations.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you would do a primer first. You would do it's an airbrush. So and it's a thin airbrush. So it's not like it's just like a big old.
Because it's skin.
It's like layers.
Yeah.
Of airbrush. So you layer 1 and that's great. And then they would do the highlight, and then they would do the low light, and then it would be layer 2, layer 3, and
The freckles.
then the freckles would go on. I shaved my head for it because the only way you'll notice that her scalp is green. That's my scalp. It's green. My scalp is green. So I shaved my head for it, and I just never went back. I loved what it did.
I mean, me too.
Thank you very much. But the freckles, we chose where we wanted the freckles at first, and then we realized we have to do this every single day. So we got a vacuum last of my face. So it's like a mask that we put on and poked the holes through the exact places that my freckles would be, and we would airbrush them on every morning. And then you would do another layer of green, and then you would fill it. Then she would fill in some of the freckles with the right. Yeah. And actually, the wonderful thing, I love watching her because the freckles aren't black; they're actually purple. So all the low light is purple, and then eyebrows, as you can see. So she would also draw on my eyebrows every morning. We'd have a tattoo library, but she would fill them in as well and make sure that was done. Then Sim would come and do my hair, and we would get that all done. She would do the baby hairs on me, so that we could get the kiss out in the right place. Then we would do my hands and spray that. Now, depending on how much, it could go to my shoulders, it could be my whole torso, it could be just my hands, just all my neck, head and neck, shoulders, head, neck, and hands, depending on what we would need to do. But I would just sit and wait. But before we could do any of the green, you had to do prosthetic ears. Prosthetic ears take at least half an hour for themselves anyway, because they had to be laid down. And exactly. And so you just would be patient, and you would just wait, and it would get done eventually.
It's like I don't know why the image that came to my mind was like, in Kill Bill, where she like goes to like the guy's house in the mountains, like the guy's house, but she like does the training, and she's either like meditating or like punching a brick wall.
But this
is like conjuring to me, because it's like these like moments of like deep meditation, and you're like, I achieved extreme enlightenment. Just painted on my green skin. And then I was creating the ground with my own body.
It's for me, it all sounds really normal. Because I did this for so long that it just became habit,
But I feel like also there's something where I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes you just have moments where you're like, oh, this is the accumulation of all the things that have happened
in
my life. Where I think about your work on stage, and then I don't know. I think about like you just like training and maybe not even knowing necessarily what you're training for, and me watching Widows and being like, this girl's fast. But just like all these things that then like. A project like this happens, and you're like, oh,
I think you might be right. I think that sometimes we don't know what we're training for the thing in the moment, but we don't realize that the accumulation of the things that we're training for, and all those skills that we add along the way are leading to something. And I do think that this is one of those moments where everything that I had done up until that moment was sort of preparing me for what I would need to do in this moment for this role, because it wasn't even a second thought. Get up at 2, go and train. Go get on the treadmill. It's time to train or get. None of that was a surprise to me, because there are things that I had been doing up until this point, and my body was sort of ready to just intensify what that was. But I will tell you, there is nothing like harness burn. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. I swear to you.
Jingle for harness burn.
Nothing like it at all. But again,
how long was that? Did it take to film that sequence?
Well, what you don't realize is that most sequences have me in a harness. Most songs.
I did not realize that.
So The Wizard and I has me in a harness. That leap over in the field that I'm in a harness.
Oh yeah. Because then also I'm like, well, she could do anything. Surely she could. No. Okay, right. Yeah.
But that particular sequence took about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
3 or 4 days. 3 or 4 days in the harness. But
then also rehearsing.
But then also rehearsing. So that took a couple of weeks. Being in it, and then just like normal things like just flying, just like actual flying, like being on a broom and flying, not just doing the sequence. But it's also 3 days of like 12 to 14-hour day. Like you're in the harness, and the harnesses change depending on what you're doing. So the spin around is a different rig, and then the loop is a different rig, and then the fly off is a different rig, and then the drop is a different rig, and you're changing the way and where the pressure in your body is. Like the fork is a different rig. The fork is like whenever you see me flying forward, the fork is deceptive. I say this like everyone knows what the fork is. The fork basically is like, it looks like a fork without the middle, like a pitchfork without the middle spike. You're the middle spike. essentially. No, really. And you'll have two of the spires beside you, and you'll be balanced between the two spires. That's you in the middle, and your wires will be pulling you either side, so that they have you tight. When I'm leant forward, that is me. I have the lean forward, and the only thing that fork is doing is kind of like moving me from side to side. If I have to be flat, I have to move myself flat. So if you're trying to do if you're trying that, for me, I think, because the flying I sort of got used to. The fork was always really interesting because I had to use my cord to stay flat, so I didn't really have it to sing with.
I was gonna ask, because the different harnesses are in different
Places.
and so that's changing. I
Where
mean,
the breath goes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you're singing, cool.
Yeah.
Being a human being is crazy. That's a thing that someone invented, and we're just
Let's do that.
Let's do
I love
that.
that.
I'll do my job in that.
But it is thrilling when it works.
Obviously.
My God, it's just
I'm
so
okay,
cool.
how can I get one of those in the kitchen?
I
want to try. Okay. Questions about the songs.
Okay.
Do you have hard probably, but part one,
Yes.
favorite song memory, or one where you're like, I don't know, I haven't told this one. Try to give you
Favorite
that was
song.
the second one.
They're really different. This is not a cop out, I promise you. I just find it hard. I find it hard to pick a favorite because they all feel like different parts of her journey. So when I was doing them, I loved them. I loved doing There Was a Night because it's so youthful, and they all use very different parts of my voice. So I loved Was a Night because it's like using the flattest sort of thinnest part of my voice. Did that really just happen? Have I actually understood? Is it from contractors at this point? Is it right? But then you go to I'm not that girl. That gets to be really airy, yeah. And then you get to Defying Gravity, and it becomes really round. That's when she's grown. Something has changed.
Round and then by the end,
full
and
and
rough.
guttural.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think I loved the way it made me have to use different parts of my voice, and even in the duets where it's just more direct when we're singing together. I just loved how I got to use the voice, and I think that was one of my favorite memories. Probably when we got to sing together in the attic. You were right on it though.
I got there.
Harmony was right there.
Thank you.
So I love the moments when we could sing together.
Yeah.
That was really special. But I think maybe
Your
the Wizard
voices
and I,
also complement each other. So
and we didn't know that. We didn't audition together.
oh
We did not audition together at all.
yeah.
So we knew we were doing this when we were told Ariana's going to be playing and Dan Cynthia's going to be playing.
Right.
But that's the first time we
Yeah.
knew. And we still hadn't sung together at that point until we met each other at John's house.
That's one of the craziest bets of all time. No, but for real, if I was John, I'd be okay, I'm gonna play the lottery now every day. I'm literally a genius. So wait, so you met at John's house and you guys were okay,
Let's well, he just so happened to have a piano there.
does he play?
He doesn't play, but Stephen Schwartz also was there. So he was there's a piano there.
It's in the corner.
Maybe we'll just And the first time we sang For Good, which you have not heard yet, it's coming. And it worked.
But
do you know
that's
how
also
crazy
the
that
test.
is?
That's I think about the Adina and Kristen.
I know,
Have you heard that CBS news feel
Right,
like that?
right, yeah.
Where they're like literally like looking at each other in the eyes, and you're like, should I be watching?
Is that-
Hello?
That was like, you have to sort of, it's to meet someone, like, I think that was the second time we had met in person, and the first time we had sung. So for our voices to actually work together, for us to actually be able to sing together and it work is, let me tell you, it's not easy. That doesn't happen.
No, because we just tried.
We got there.
But don't worry, I'm gonna take these lessons. Don't worry. I'm gonna take these lessons. Y'all go see. I'm in part 2.
You're in part 2.
Munchkin solo. I'm just a little munchkin.
Why is your munchkin English?
Something.
Your munchkin is literally Oliver.
Yeah, it's little munchkin. I wish the witch would give me Steven's on it.
You got it.
Okay. I want to say that as your friend, but also just as another actor and another young black girl who used to fucking love musicals and love movies and love all this stuff, I like actually can't look you in the eyes. I'm so proud of you. I'm so I really hope you're proud of yourself. It's like, I don't know, this is all cuckoo.
Well, can I
And
say the same?
Just
please?
wonderful.
I would like to say
No.
no. Stop me. It's too late. I've already started. I've already started. It means it means a lot for you to be here today doing this with me because I know how busy you are, and it's been the ride of my life to be able to watch you be the fucking greatest, because it fills me with such pride to watch you be a boss on that screen, and I think you're phenomenal, and I'm really proud to call you my friend, and I'm really glad to be here and have this chat with you, because I know you know what it takes. I know you know how hard this is, and I watch you work really hard. So it's wonderful to be here as you receive your flowers.
But you got a ticket, right? Yeah. Because I asked. What do I need to do with this? Well, it would be more beautiful to see her fabric one. Is it him?
I deleted that one.
That's really sweet.
Keep singing Defying Gravity.
Let's get the guy down here, so.
Yes. Oh,
I know it's silly, but would you mind signing your Barbie?
oh, for sure.
Could you do me a favor? Because she doesn't want any more pictures. Do me a favor. Just take me. I'm just.
I do.
I'll be taking as you go. Don't move yet. You'll look tired. Dress back.
Oh yeah, she's not there. Oh, I see.
I'm just getting you in the bathroom. I'm sorry.
Don't check the seat. But she knew who was coming around. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
You're amazing. Amazing.
We love you. I'm so sorry.
We love you, Cynthia. Woo! Woo! Good job. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you.
Good one.
Go well, everyone. Please stay safe.
Thank you. Seatbelts.
Thank you. I'll get it. Take a breath. So much. So much.
Goodbye.
Oh, that's so sweet.
One of those will be good.
Thank you.
You're so gracious. Thank you. Thank you so much. We love you.
Love you. All right. Nice.
That was a lot of fun. You're so welcome.
It was still fun.
You got a lot of pictures of her.
Sorry.
For the thing.
You should do this. Doing it against the wall. You should do it next to her self portrait. No, we're doing it next to her portrait.
Cynthia Erivo.